If you find some rust on your vehicle like this, you want to go over it with something and you want to tap it to find out how bad the damage is. See that? And then there's a hole here and there's a bunch of rust coming out. Anywhere where a hole forms, you gotta fill that in with epoxy and repaint it. But you gotta do this to find out how bad the damage is, because the paint is hiding the damage. Once you figure out where all the damage is, mix your epoxy together. Make sure you clean out all the rust as you can out of here, because there's gonna be pieces that are gonna fall out of these holes. Go mix your epoxy. Now this is probably not going to fill in the bigger holes right away. You're probably going to have to go over it several times after you let it dry, and then go over it again until the holes are filled up. You have something better than this, because this is kind of absorbing it. You want to smear it into the holes to fill in the holes. For this big hole here, I put some cardboard inside to help keep the epoxy from going inside the hole and not sealing the hole. You can see here, it looks pretty good already. All the holes are filled in. Now we're gonna fill in this big hole here. It might take a few times because the hole's so big. You might have to put in a little bit, let it cure, and then come back and add more until the hole's filled in. Smaller piece of cardboard like this actually works better. Just do this until it gets flush with the steel if you want, or however you want to do it. Important when you mix this stuff that you want to mix it in equal parts, the best you can. So you squirt some out from that bottle, close that bottle, open the other bottle, and you want to try to squirt out the same exact amount from the second bottle that you did from the first bottle. The epoxy might not harden properly if you don't mix it. Now to do that, just mix it together really good, and then you can spread it on wherever you want to spread it. This stuff starts to cure pretty quick. This stuff on here is already like maybe halfway cured. Still working on this deep hole here. You can even go like this too if you have the time, to keep the epoxy from dripping out of the hole until it starts to solidify and stay in the hole. Or just get the hairdryer on a light setting. You don't want to make it cure too fast. Just the outer layer to cure, so that way it'll stay in place. When you're done, you're going to want to let this stuff cure for 24 hours before you repaint it. Make sure that you have all the holes filled in good with the epoxy, so that water cannot get in there. Now this tailgate probably rusted from water getting inside through the top from rain, because there are little holes down here where the water can drain out. This repair was done on a truck, but you can do the same thing if you have a problem on your car. On the bottom of the door, there's a bunch of rust, kind of like on the bottom of this tailgate door. You can do the same thing to clean it off. It's in an inconspicuous area, so if you go over a little spray paint, sand it down, nobody's really going to notice. And here are those little holes I was talking about where the water drains out. See all that crap that's in there? If you check your door or your tailgate or whatever and you got this crap, you want to try to scrape this out. You can even put a vacuum over this and suck it out. You want to clean all that out so the water can get out freely. You don't want it to stay in there too long if it ever gets in there. Sand down the epoxy, and then you can paint it. I'm only going to paint it up to here, and I'm going to use this cardboard and hold it down as I go along and paint it with my paint. You can still see the epoxy. Should have sanded it more. This is optional. I drilled a couple holes right here because these holes here, you can see how the steel is bent around. Water can get trapped in there, and that's probably what caused it to rust out on the bottom on the other side. So these holes are a little lower now, so hopefully you can get more water out. I went in here with the drill bit and cleaned it out. Got a lot of the rust out. Now I'm going to use some of this rusty metal primer and spray it in the holes. Try to protect it the best I can. And all this down here is going to be repainted as well. You want to get a screwdriver and put it in here and make sure these things are clean. Get this crap out of there. Doing that, and then I got a spray bottle. Or you can use the hose. I went over this area down here with the rusty primer first, let it dry, and then I went over it with a coat of white paint. Here's what it looks like finished. It's not going to be perfect. If you keep sanding it and working at it, you can get it pretty perfect if you want. Here's what it looks like far away. See, from a distance you can't really tell that anything's wrong. This is how you can fix rust on your vehicle, especially when it's in an inconspicuous area and nobody's really going to notice it. Why not fix it yourself? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, click the notification bell, and if you have any suggestions for future videos, leave a comment below.